Hi folks, this is Melvin from optoproductions.com with another episode of VCV Rack Techno. And in this video, we'll create the bassline for our track. So in the previous episode, we made this arpeggiator patch. Okay, so let's find a new bass sound. Let's start out with a VCO. And I'll add a filter and a VCA mix, as I may want to add more oscillators later on. And also an envelope. Okay, let's take the saw wave output and patch it to the VCA mix. Then into the filter, to the output. And let's take the gate output, send it to the ADSR envelope. And send this to both the VCA mix and the cutoff. But instead of using MIDI, I'm gonna use Permutation, which I've made a video about last week. And I think I'm gonna take this one. It should be plenty for this patch. So I'll take the clock divider output, send it over here. Change the clock division to 16th notes. Then I'm also gonna add a quantizer and take the sequence output and send it over here. And I'll change the VCO pitch to 110. Oh, and instead of the gate, I'll use the rhythm output over here. Oh yeah, the only thing I need to change is that the gate output is really short, and that's because the clock signal is passed through. So I'm gonna add another module to lengthen the gate length. I'll take this one, send it to the gate input, and take the gate output and send it over here. Let's turn down the level. Okay, let's see if we can lock in a rhythm. So maybe 5 or 7 steps. Turn up the drive a bit. Okay, and I'm gonna turn down the octave. Even more, 27.5. Alright, well what I want to do right now is to create some more randomness. So I'm gonna add a VCA and then I'm gonna add a attenuator. So I want the shift knob to move every bar probably. So I'm gonna add a clock divider and take the divided clock output from over here. So we have 16 notes. So divide by 2 we get 8 notes, quarter notes, half notes, a bar. But since this is a gate, we need to go for the 32 output because it's on half of the time. And we send this to the VCA CV input. So it should be just a simple on and off switch. Let's take a look if that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, off, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's working. Then I'll take the attenuator output, send that to the shift input. I think I need to reset this to 12 o'clock and push this one up. Okay, that's working, but this might be a bit too random still. I think I want to repeat it for 4 bars and then change. So how do we do that? Right, I fast forwarded a bit, and what I did is I added a logic module and I took another output from the clock divider. So if this one moves on for a bar and then off for a bar, this one takes twice as long. So if we take a look at the scope for a second, you can see that the bottom curve is twice as long. And if we send this output to input A on the logic module and this one to input B, we can compare the two. And then I took the not AND output. So only when both are not high will the output be high. This means that if the VCA is high, a 10-volt output will be sent through, and this means the shift knob will move to the right. So only when the VCA is low will it output a random voltage. Now it's locked. Now it's unlocked. So that might be a bit too random, but I'm gonna record this pattern later on so we can pick out the best bits. Okay, so I'm first gonna add some more effects to the sound, maybe a delay, and I think the fusion delay is pretty cool. Let's take the filter output and send it to the fusion delay, and this one is actually stereo. And then I think I'm gonna add a reverb. Let's remove some low frequencies. Some high. Reduce the width. Oh yeah, by the way, I changed the scale to minor. Maybe I'll just reset it. So it gets a bit more random. Then the last thing I'm gonna add is a distortion. Maybe a wave shaper. Yeah, let's take this one. And I think I'll put it after the reverb. By the way, there's nothing wrong with putting reverb on a bass. There are no rules in music production, as long as it sounds good. I think I'm gonna add some noise, maybe the noise plethora, just to add some texture to the sound. So I'll take the output and send it to the VCA mix. And then also the ADSR output to control the envelope. Alright, I'm gonna grab my MIDI controller so we can record this. And the first thing I'm gonna map is of course the filter cutoff. And then I'll add the attack and release. Okay, what else can we map? Maybe the reverb amount, the delay time, and the feedback. And lastly, maybe the cutoff frequency. I think these changing sequences are a bit too random, so it was a good idea to try, but if it doesn't work, just get rid of it. Alright, so I went ahead and recorded some automation for the bass and for the ARP as well. So what I now want to do is I want to record the bass parts to audio, so I can commit to them. So in Cubase, all you need to do is route the bass track to a group track, and then I can make a new audio track. At the input, I can select the group track. If I disconnect this output, now I can monitor the input signal. Okay, so now the audio from the bass track is coming in over here. And I think I'm gonna start the bass from around here. So I'm just gonna play around with the bits or the sequence length. And let's record a few takes. So I recorded 4 takes, and the first 2 were really experimental. Eventually I ended up with a 4th take, which is just one sequence the whole way through. But now I can pick the parts I like. So let's say I want to keep this as the main take, and then occasionally choose take 1, 2, or 3. So here for example. Maybe that one, just as a fill. A different pattern. I moved the VCO frequency instead of the filter cutoff here, but it could be cool as a future. Let's keep it. Okay, cool. I just muted the ARP for a second, but I think I'm gonna remove some low end. might EQ it a little bit. I'll also remove some of the sides on the low frequencies. Alright, maybe turn it down a bit. Yeah, cool. This is turning into a really cool song actually. And it doesn't sound like it's programmed. It really feels like a performance. But yeah, that's it for this video. The main takeaway is to experiment, to record everything you do, automate a lot, and just see where it goes. You never know where you end up with. In the coming video, I'll cover more of the effects or the atmospheric sounds, and then maybe one video to finish the arrangement and the mixing. But by then we should be as good as finished. And like always, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next week with another tutorial.